Joslyn here. Just wanted to talk to you guys about Accutane today. So this is actually my second time recording this video because the first time I recorded it, it was kind of messy and I was like, I don't want to like show that to you guys and not have it more organized, you know? So I wrote everything down this time, and I plan to run through everything. Hopefully I don't miss anything this time, and I hope you guys enjoy. I know that on my Instagram I have a lot of people who have been interested in kind of like knowing more about my journey with Accutane and getting my skin clear. Shout out to my dermatologist, because man, I got makeup on, but y'all see this, right? Ain't a bump on my face. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I've definitely come a long way since last year. Well, over a year now, yeah, I guess, because we'll get into that. But anyways, that's what we're gonna be talking about today, Accutane. So like I said, I wrote everything down. I'm gonna be referencing this a lot just so I don't miss anything. So first, what is Accutane, what it does, how long, and I'm gonna compare it to another product that is kind of similar, or maybe not similar, but it's in the family kind of what Accutane. It's the same thing that it does a similar thing that Accutane does. I can't talk. So basically, Accutane is also known as this like prescription name of Tretinoin. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Tretinoin, but that is a form of a retinol. Lots of big words. So retinol typically, let me think. Usually you can find retinol in stores sometimes, but it's typically very, very low percentage. So if you want, I want to say, so I was on 0.1% retinol for a while. I actually started using that, I want to say in like 2017, and pretty much it's just like a cream that you put on your face, and it's supposed to essentially bring everything to the surface and kind of speed up your cell rejuvenation. So it helps bring everything up, and then kind of basically your skin gets really dry to the point to where it peels, and it's supposed to dry out all that acne and then essentially keep you from getting it. For some people it does work. Again, I was on it for a while and it was successful for me, which I'll attach some pictures to as well. But once I got to Japan in 2019, my skin just kind of went crazy, and I continued to use my retinol. Wasn't working. I was fairly healthy, like I would occasionally eat junk food, but it wasn't anything serious. Drank lots of water, exercise all the time, but I knew that it had something to do with like my gut. So I do associate the time that I started breaking out really bad with moving to Japan. I don't really know the difference in like the air quality and stuff like that. I've heard that it is worse than where I've lived at in the States, but I'm not gonna attribute my acne to Japan specifically, only because I did have acne prior. But like I said, the retinol worked, and I pretty much I didn't have to use it every day. I was using it probably every couple days, and my skin was pretty much like flawless. So again, skip ahead to June 2019, my skin pretty much just went crazy, and that is what made me want to get on Accutane, because it was like I had what's the word? Can't think. Exercise, I guess, like every other option that I could think of, and nothing was really working. So let me reference my book real quick. Yes, so back to Tretinoin, aka Accutane. It is another form of like a retinol kind of, except it's one that you take orally. So instead, with regular retinol or Tretinoin, you put it on your face. It can come in like a cream or a gel, anything like that. Sometimes it's mixed in with other things that you can find in the drugstore. So like Differin gel is something that I believe has retinol in it. But with Tretinoin or Accutane, it is a pill that you take, or multiple pills that you take, depending on whatever your dermatologist prescribes you, and you take it orally every day. So that's what I essentially got put on, and pretty much it kind of just stops. It does a similar thing that Tretinoin or retinol does, except it does it internally. So last thing, people who are on Accutane typically take it between 5 to 6 months, but it also just depends on your skin type. For me, my dermatologist recommended that I take it for a total of 8 months. Also, just want to throw in really quick, guys, I am not a doctor by no means. So if you guys do want to look more into taking Accutane, I would suggest, highly suggest doing your own research. And even then, just talk to your doctor or a dermatologist or whoever you're going to. Typically it is a dermatologist, but just do your own research. And a lot of forums that I looked up, like I even went to Reddit to like look up side effects that were kind of bothering me during the process, and I felt like it definitely helped a lot, because sometimes like the most common side effects don't always, it doesn't always pertain to you. So like for me, I had a side effect that I couldn't find anywhere on like actual Google. So like when I went to Reddit though, there was so many people talking about it, and I was just like, why is this not listed as something that's pretty common? So again, do your own research. I am not a doctor. I'm just going to talk about what worked for me personally. So first we're going to talk about Pre-Accutane Joslyn. Y'all, when I tell you that I was depressed, to be real with you, I was very depressed. So I want to say October of 2020 was probably the worst month for my skin, and I will attach pictures throughout this video. It was to the point where I did not want to leave my room at all. Like I would say no to going to like social functions or canceling last minute, because if my skin was like freaking out that day and I felt like my makeup just wasn't hiding it enough, I did not want to go out. And to experience that is really crazy, because it's like I'm definitely an extrovert, and so I thrive off of being in like social situations and just hanging out with my friends and spending time with them. And of course, like I know that they were never looking at that like, oh my god, her skin's so bad, or like they'd never say anything. Like it's most of the time like we are just more critical of ourselves than anybody else is going to be. But it didn't matter to me because I knew it was there. So a lot of the times, like I said, I would just cancel and stay home, and that got really depressing, and it just made me feel insecure. Like I always wanted to like have the opportunity to not wear makeup and just go out and feel fine, but it was like I wouldn't even leave the house without putting makeup on. Like I remember like even to when me and my husband were dating, like I would go over to his house and with a full face of makeup on and sleep with it on if I was spending the night, because I was just so like afraid of him seeing it and then like not, and just like feeling some type of way towards me because I was just that insecure about it. And it's just like nobody should have to go through that. That's not normal. And it was definitely like a very, what's the word? I'm not sure, but it wasn't anything I was new to, because again, I had acne prior to that, but this was like the worst of it. And it was like every day I was waking up with new pimples. Like they hurt. My face was always hurting. Again, this wasn't something that you could just hide with makeup because you could see all the texture underneath. Like it was just getting to the point where I was just like, I'm fed up. I can't do this anymore. And that was after over a year of being here in Japan. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. So basically, I ended up hitting up my primary care manager, aka doctor-ish, like a PA. So if you guys don't know, I am in the military. I am stationed in Japan. If you know anything about military doctors or physicians, sometimes they're not the best, just to be real. But basically, the physician that I had, he pretty much for a year straight since I had started getting acne, was just basically downplaying it, saying like my acne wasn't that bad. And I would go, and these were in-person visits where he would just look at my face and be like, it's really not that bad, and prescribe me like the lowest dosage of retinol, which again was the topical cream or gel that you put on your face, which I already was using a 0.1%, which is the highest, and it wasn't working. So it was just like an ongoing battle, and it was very frustrating hearing somebody literally look at me and tell me like I'm crazy, which I'm just like, okay. Like, do you not see my face? Like, you clearly must not really be looking, because there's no way you're missing this. It's just insane. And of course, whenever I would have these appointments, I was typically working, so I did have makeup on, and this was pre-COVID, before masks. So again, I did have a full face of makeup on. But if you know anything, you know dang well that you can see acne underneath. Like, again, cystic acne, they're large bumps. You can tell if somebody has acne underneath their makeup. Acne scars is different, but I had active cystic pimples, and I had a doctor telling me that my skin was fine. No.
So disrespectful! That shit got me so hot!
So that was very frustrating. But skip forward about a year. So I want to say I made my call probably around like October, November timeframe, and I ended up getting a new PA, which was very helpful. And of course, this was during COVID, so a lot of the phone calls and appointments were going, or a lot of the appointments were during, like, can't talk. A lot of the appointments were phone calls. So because of that, I pretty much explained everything to him. Kind of had an attitude like, I need an appointment I need a referral to the dermatologist, because if you know, again, military doctors, you can't just get a dermatologist. There's typically going to be one dermatologist on the base, and that one dermatologist serves everybody that lives there. So again, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I knew that my situation was worth going. So pretty much was like demanding, get me an appointment with the dermatologist, because this is not going to go on any longer. And he was very understanding. He, I think, could probably tell that I was kind of just like fed up. So he was like, yeah, I got you, get you a referral and get you in as soon as possible, which was nice. It was very refreshing after being with a PA that pretty much was just like, nah. So, let's see. Yeah, I had my first initial appointment in November of 2021, and then I officially started my Accutane journey in late December of 2020. I'm getting my years mixed up, guys. So yeah, so November 2020 is when I had my initial appointment, and pretty much I just met with the dermatologist, and they pretty much just said, like, they looked at my face and he immediately was just like, yeah, we think you're a good candidate for this. And I was like, I figured. So we went through that. He kind of told me what Accutane does, how long, kind of like what I went through earlier with you guys. Told me the side effects, told me the do's and the don'ts, and kind of just went over everything, and then told me too, like, I have to get a pregnancy test every month, which we'll go into that more later. And yeah, so pretty much was just kind of like the rules, obligations, what you gotta do, what's recommended, what to expect, all that good stuff. So after that, I had to wait a whole month, again, because you have to get a pregnancy test. You cannot get pregnant on this medication. So they wanted me to wait a whole month to start it, and then after that 1 month, they would basically know. Usually you can know, you get a pregnancy test done, and then if it's negative, you're probably fine. So I got my pregnancy test done in December, a couple days before they prescribed me my first dosage. All right, so initially I started with a 20 milligram dosage of Tretinoin, and when I tell y'all, going from like not taking anything like that to taking 20 milligrams, it seems very low. No, my skin, it was crazy. So I would say the first side effect I pretty much noticed was dry lips. It was like almost instantaneous. My lips were getting like really cracked and dry and peely, and it was pretty gross. But yeah, so first I was prescribed 20, and then I want to say maybe month 2 is when I went up to 40 milligrams, and then I stayed on that for a couple months, and then I want to say probably month 3 or 4 is when I started 60. So 60 milligrams is the highest they ended up going. I thought they were going to go up higher only because we increased it so quickly. I stayed on the 60 until I got to month 8 and finished the process altogether. With that, so they basically, they didn't give me like another pill. So they went from 20 to 40, and then when I went to 60, they pretty much just told me to take 1 of each pill every day. And again, once you guys go up, you have to do monthly checkup. So every checkup, you have to get a pregnancy test a couple days before. However it may work for your doctor, it might be different. They had me go a couple days before I got a pregnancy test done. As long as it was negative, they went ahead and they prescribed me the medication. And when you do that, you have to get a briefing every single time that you go in there to meet with your doctor. So you kind of ask, like, how are you feeling? Are you depressed, suicidal? Do you think you might be pregnant? Have you been having protected sex? What else? Kind of it's like a briefing every single time. So kind of like how the initial appointment went, like what you can do, what you can't do, stuff like that. They go over every single time because it's that serious. And so I would go do that, and then once I was done getting that from the PA or the doctor, he would kind of sign me off in this system called iPledge. So iPledge pretty much is like an online system where the doctor, both you and the doctor, have to do like a check-in. So once the doctor says like, this patient's good to go, I gave her briefing, she understands this, I personally, or whoever the patient is, has to go in and take like a mini quiz kind of, and it'll ask you questions like, what are your 2 forms of birth control? Why do you have to have 2 forms of birth control? Can you give blood while you're taking this? Which the answer is no. Stuff like that. So just kind of like whatever the doctor went through or whatever you're supposed to know, they have you answer those questions. And then once you're done with that, then your prescription will be available. You can go to whatever pharmacy and pick it up.